Good morning, everyone. I see a lot of participants still joining. We'll give a few more moments for others to join. All right, well, I still feel a few people joining, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time for those of you who've already joined. So we'll go ahead and get started. So good morning and welcome, everyone. We thank you for joining us today to discuss the construction of the new Altec Styslinger Genomic Medicine and Data Sciences building. My name is Denton Lunceford. I'm the Assistant Vice President of Planning, Design, and Construction in UAB's Facility Division. I am joined this morning by a panel of professionals from facilities, as well as ARP and School of Medicine, to help answer any questions that you may have regarding this project. It is our hope and our intent to keep you informed about this project throughout the remaining stages of design and throughout construction. The project team is working with individuals from the School of Medicine, UAB Hospital, School of Dentistry, School of Engineering, College of Arts and Sciences, Animal Resources, the VA, and many others to minimize disruption and to help coordinate the many challenges associated with this project. This project will take many hands and many heads to be successful, and that is why we are glad that you're here today to collaborate with us. The project is currently located in the building currently known as Lyons Harrison Research Building. As you are aware, this building is located at a very prominent and busy intersection on campus. The building actually spans over 7th Avenue South near 19th Street. The building is connected to Jefferson Tower on the north end, the School of Dentistry to the southeast, Ziegler Research Building on the south end, as well as the VA Hospital to the southwest. The location for this important and iconic new building was chosen because of its visibility and its connectivity to those other buildings in the heavy research and medical area of campus. This project also serves as an opportunity to renovate the Lyons Harrison building, which is in need of repair and was already on a list of buildings to receive a full renovation sometime in the not too distant future. So this project does allow us to achieve all of those objectives while appropriately locating this new home for precision medicine and related disciplines. While the connectivity and the prominent location are a benefit, they also present several logistical challenges, as you can imagine. It's not easy to deconstruct and build back an 8-story building over a busy avenue on campus. The project team also recognizes the inconveniences and the challenges that this endeavor presents for the entities and the constituents located inside each of the affected buildings, being Lyons Harrison, Crockett, and Pittman, as well as the occupants of buildings that surround this project. So we thank you for your patience so far, and we thank you in advance for your patience and understanding throughout this project. The relocations and the construction also affect researchers who currently have animals located in the Lyons Harrison building. You will hear from Dr. Eric Dome, Executive Director of the Animal Resources Program, who will address this challenge later in the town hall meeting. For now, let's get into some details of the project. In November of 2020, funding became available to start this project, and the money must be spent by the end of calendar year 2023. Design is well underway. We began the planning and preliminary design about 6 months ago. Renderings were created prior to that, actually, to help everyone envision what a new building would look like and to help raise funds for this project. So what you're seeing on your screen are those renderings. This one from the east about where Pittman currently stands looking west, and then another looking, this one here, looking from the west side of 19th Street back east at the building. So the VA hospital would be, the connector to the VA would be right there on the right in the photo you see there. And then the last two renderings provide a reminder of the current exterior skin of Lyons Harrison, in case you haven't seen it recently, contrasted with the proposed rendering from the same view of the completed project. I mentioned that the School of Medicine and other various schools have been working with the project team for over 6 months, meeting 3 to 4 times per week to coordinate space relocations and vacate these buildings associated with this project. I'm extremely proud and appreciative of the team for working well together and for keeping a positive attitude. Crockett and Pittman are now vacated, they are empty, and the project to demolish those buildings has already bid. We are currently approving the contract for the demolition. The preparation and the demolition of those buildings will begin in the next 2 months. As for Lyons Harrison, some entities have already moved out, and the remaining occupants have a new location identified, but may be awaiting preparation of their new space. We have the goal of completely vacating Lyons Harrison by the end of this calendar year, 2021. It should be noted that UAB has been in communication with the families for which each of these buildings are named, and they will continue to be honored in other locations on our campus so that their legacy may live on here at UAB. So when we look at the schedule, we can work backwards from the end of calendar year 2023 deadline. The construction duration of this project is approximately 20 months. It's a difficult project, and Lyons Harrison will not be demolished in the same way that Crockett and Pittman will. Lyons Harrison will be more of a selective and surgical demolition of everything except for the structure itself. Much of its demolition will be a slower hand demolition and deconstruction, working over an open 7th Avenue South and also trying not to disturb the adjacent buildings. So where a normal wholesale demolition, where we take a building to the ground, might take 2 to 3 months, the Lyons Harrison surgical demolition will take more like 4 to 6 months. So again, if we're working backwards from that end date of end of calendar year 2023, 20 months for construction, an additional 4 to 6 for demolition, backs us up approximately 2 years, which is how we arrived at the goal of vacating LHRB by the end of calendar year 2021. So now what can you expect to see over the next several months? As mentioned earlier, Crockett and Pittman are being prepared for demolition. The contractor will soon erect a site fence around the perimeter of the work area and begin to mobilize their equipment and materials inside of that fence. And this takes us to one of the key reasons for this town hall, which is to explain the impact to vehicular and pedestrian traffic. In this slide here, you can see the demolition site for the contractor and the yellowish orange outline of the contractor's work area. The contractor will install fencing at that perimeter for your protection and also to establish their work area inside the fence. You will note the double gate in the middle of the fence on the south side of the work site that will serve as ingress and egress for the contractor's trucks and equipment. For this reason, the sidewalk on that north side of 7th Avenue South will be closed approximately from 19th Street to 20th Street. So the trucks can pass in and out of that double fence opening there across the sidewalk as they haul demoed material off the site. So in this diagram, the fence appears to be in 7th Avenue, but it is actually intended only to capture the on-street parking on that north side of 7th Avenue South. Our intent is to leave both lanes of traffic open, both eastbound and westbound on 7th Avenue South throughout the demolition. So the scale may not be quite correct, but yes, both lanes, both directions should be open. As I mentioned a moment ago, the sidewalk on north side will be closed for the safety and protection of our employees, students, patrons, and patients at the School of Dentistry and that sort of thing. The sidewalk on the south side will remain open, and this is the dentistry side of the street from 19th to 20th. That will be open. Signage will be placed at the corners and crosswalks, and you're seeing an example here of what it will look like at the ground level. These signs will be placed at the corners and crosswalks at the end of each block, directing pedestrians to safely cross at those intersections over to the south side, where they can safely walk between 19th and 20th on the south side of 7th. This aforementioned fencing, signage, and sidewalk closures, they will all remain in effect for the duration of the Genomics project. So to be clear, they will not be removed after demolition. The exact configuration and the closures will be altered after demolition is complete, but we will keep you informed of those changes and closures in advance. The fence enclosure is needed for the construction contractor to stage their materials, equipment, and their job office trailer for the construction of the Genomics building, and therefore it will remain throughout the project. One other very major component of this project is the adjustments to the animal accommodations currently located in Lyons Harrison. I know that's a reason that some of you may be on this call. So Dr. Eric Dome is with us to outline our plan for those spaces, and I'll pass the microphone to Eric now.
Okay, little unmute issue, but thank you, Denton, for that. As you can tell, the new Genomics building is going to be wonderful. There is a bit of a journey to get there, though. Part of that journey requires emptying the Lyons Harrison Animal Facility by the end of 2021. Along the way, though, as a long-term animal facility solution, we will get a $6 million plus complete renovation of the Ziegler 10th floor to accommodate all the animals currently in Lyons Harrison. The project will update the HVAC in all of the ZRB animal facility, and the new space on the 10th floor will be able to accommodate all current colonies from Lyons Harrison. In the new space, we will strive to have no more than 4 PIs maximum in a room. The rooms are designed to hold around 400 cages, so this equates to less time the care staff need for cage change and less competition for working time in the room for you and your staff. As part of the project, the new space is being outfitted with 100% ventilated caging. There will be a changing station in every room and direct access to ample procedure space. I'm really excited about this new space. It will be a tremendous leap forward for our housing space and your animals. So now the challenge. Despite our best efforts, there was no way for us to move the animals only once. As I already mentioned, and Denton has mentioned several times, we must relocate your colonies from Lyons Harrison by the end of 2021. However, they cannot move directly into the new space in Ziegler 10 because of construction timelines. Construction of the ZRB 10th floor will finish in May of 2022. As the intermediate housing solution, we have additional spaces on the ZRB 8th floor and the web animal facility. Those spaces require some minor modifications, which will start next month. Once construction is done on the ZRB 10th floor, we plan to move everything one last time to their permanent homes. I know this prospect is inconvenient, but please understand that ARP and everyone on the panel is looking out for you and your interests. We will work with you individually to achieve the best solution for your specific colony. I will be contacting investigators with animals on ZRB 8 over the next couple of weeks to go over options for the minor renovations starting there next month. And then in July, I will start meeting with the investigators who have colonies in LHRB to settle on specific plans for moving them before the end of 2021. However, please remember, we still have to work within the confines of the space available, the timelines of construction, and the overall needs of the program to keep animals appropriately cared for, safe, and healthy. We plan to wait as long as possible for the actual move of animals out of LHRB so that we minimize the disruption to you and your staff having to go to other facilities or areas to get their animals. Please contact me by email if you have special experimental timelines or other special needs that you think I should know about. Overall, our goal is to minimize disruption to your colonies and the time in alternate locations before we can get animals back to ZRB 10 in their nice new permanent homes. That's all I have for today. So I'm going to send it back to Denton.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. And I realize that we've covered some material here, a pretty good bit of material in the last 15 minutes. So we'll open up to questions, and I sent a reminder there in the chat to use the Q&A. I believe there's a Q&A and a chat button. You can use the Q&A button to ask any questions that you may have regarding either the construction or the animals or any other questions related to this project. And we'll give a few moments for those questions to come in. I do see one question from Sandra Roberts about the 7th Avenue sidewalk being closed and how long we expect that to be closed. At this point, Sandra, I would expect it to be closed for the duration of the Genomics project, which again will be towards the end of 2023. It is only one side. Obviously, I mentioned the north side being closed, so the south side will still be open. So the inconvenience will be simply just crossing over to that south side and using the south side sidewalk, and that's for everyone's safety, just to be sure that the contractor, they're moving materials, a lot of heavy materials around in that fenced area that will be their lay down area, and we don't want to get anybody hurt by walking right up against their fence. So they normally capture that sidewalk, and that'd be for the duration of the project through 2023. And I'll take this moment to remind people not to walk along the outside of the fence in the street, as we're trying to keep both lanes of travel open on 7th Avenue. And so that'd be very dangerous to do that. We do see that it's a common thing on job sites. So please do cross over to the safe side, the south side. There's a question about the effect of vehicle traffic when we start to renovate Lyons Harrison. Does anyone want to take that? I can answer that one unless someone else wants to take that question. The intent is to keep both lanes open even during the Lyons Harrison construction. What will be built is somewhat of a it'll have to be a tunnel or some sort of a scaffolded safe enclosure for vehicles to pass through as they go underneath the building. That, as you can imagine, will be difficult. There will be times, and I don't want to promise that it will remain open the whole time. There will be times that we will have to close one lane of traffic at least, maybe even both, but we're trying to keep those durations to a minimum when we do have to close those, and we will communicate that clearly. Natalie, I believe we're going to communicate that in the e-builder as well as the different schools newsletters, so that you guys can put those out, and we're trying to give at least 2 weeks notice before we close any of those in either lane of traffic. I'm happy to let any of the other panelists answer these other questions as well. Someone's asking about the interior programming. I don't know if Victor or Kevin wants to take that.
How much of the interior programming has already occurred? We have started that process with quite a few departments, and there may there will likely be a few more departments that we'll need to get with to include in the programming, and that will be determined more towards the end of the month as we know how much of the building is actually built out. So that should, any other questions, you can email me direct related to programming and new occupants. There is another question: what arrangements are being made for routes for those of us who typically walk from ZRB through LHRB? And you will have to take the street, so there will be no walking through Lyons Harrison once it's under construction, but there will be dedicated routes for pedestrians around the construction site.
When the building's finished, then there will be one corridor between the buildings instead of several, probably on the 3rd floor.
So I'll read out this question as well. What is planned for the Cracky and Pittman sites after the construction is complete?
Greg, did you want to answer that one, or I can? Anybody?
Sure. The area where Cracky, Pittman part of that will be taken up with a small addition to this building to Lyons Harrison. There will be a projection and extension of Lyons Harrison to the east. And then in a smaller area of that remaining footprint will be an outdoor green space similar to the plaza entry for the facility. I think we showed that in the earlier rendering, if you remember that rendering.
Yes, you could. Yeah,
we could flip back to that slide, maybe. Denton, someone also asked a question about how does this coincide with the McCallum project? Do you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah, I just saw that. So we're getting started on McCallum phase 2, which is actually floors 5, 6, and 7, renovating those. The exterior, as you guys can all see, a lot of the scaffolding has come down, and the exterior panels are finishing up, kind of on the home stretch of getting that exterior straightened out. So when that's finished, the duration for McCallum 5, 6, and 7, Lamar, help me, I believe it's 10 or 12 months. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, for phase 2. And then we should move into phase 3 soon after that, which will be the renovation of the remaining floors, 2, 3, and 4, and possibly a lobby component. But that, to answer your question, it actually may time out very similar. I would think, and Kevin, I believe what we've talked about is that the completion of phase 3 is targeted for probably early first quarter of 24. Am I about right there, Lamar and Kevin?
That is the time frame that has been discussed at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Someone has asked if this recording will be posted somewhere, and I wanted to reassure them that we are recording this and it will be posted and shared with everyone.
Someone asked who will be moving into the new genomics building. I'll let Victor or Kevin answer that one. Or it may be a one we have to get back to you.
I think Kevin already addressed that. He spoke about the programming, so I think he's already addressed that.
All right. I don't see any other questions coming in. We'll give a few more moments in case anyone has one. Well, I'll go ahead and start to wrap up here. And if we have any more questions, please go ahead and type them and we'll be glad to read them. But we just want to thank you for joining us here. We think this is, again, it's going to take many hands to make this successful. This is a difficult project that affects a lot of people. And so we really appreciate your attendance here today. Glad that you're getting the information, and we want to be transparent with you. So we will continue as things change and evolve with this project. I know we've only gone out about 4 to 6 months with the anticipated effects as far as pedestrian and vehicle traffic. The project obviously is much longer, and our intent is to keep you informed, whether it be another town hall or through newsletters and other forms of communication. Our intent is to keep everyone informed as the project continues. Any other panelists have anything to say before we sign off?
Only that feel free to send emails directly or contact directly if you have other questions about the project.
Agreed. All right, well, we're a little bit early. We'll give you back 30 minutes of your day. Thank you everyone again for joining, and we'll be talking to you soon.